Hello, and welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast to the week of January 8th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
For a weekly episode to talk about parenting in a roundabout way, along with a little pop culture. We've gone for a while. Did you miss us, listeners? You remember us? Remember? We used to be here every week,
back in 2023.
That's right. It was last year that you last heard from us. I hope you didn't just wipe us off of your podcast player. Still there? Hi. We're back. Happy to be back. Going to try to remember how to work the equipment.
That's right.
What were you up to these last 2 weeks, Catherine? What exciting things happened to you over the holidays? Only good things, I hope.
Yes. Celebrated Christmas at home. As I think I mentioned, my daughter had to come home early because of the threat of jury duty, which she did not have to perform. She was quite nervous about having to go in.
The Hallmark movie that could have been.
Yeah, it didn't happen. So yeah, she was here, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Had our little Christmas. One of the things we got, the kids and I got for my husband was a Christmas sweater with our old dog's picture knitted into it.
Oh my goodness.
Because he had seen this in a catalog and marked it, and he now says that he wasn't marking it for himself. He was marking it for someone else. But anyway, we thought he wanted it, so we decided to get it. And then we couldn't decide. It only had space for one dog, and we have two dogs, so we were
don't want to play favorites.
What do we do here? So then my son had the brilliant idea of putting our old dog, because we just had one when we had her. So now he has a Christmas sweater.
Memorialized on a Christmas sweater for all eternity.
That's right.
How adorable. And now the current dogs are going to go,
hey.
So who's going to get us?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to make sweaters for two more of you just so each of them can have a sweater.
Yeah. If it weren't for the cost of said sweater, we would have gotten multiple. Because at first my daughter was like, we'll get one for each of us, and two with one dog and two with the other. I was like, yeah, no, not for.
Think of the family Christmas photo, Catherine.
Yes.
Think of the Christmas card with that family Christmas photo with the dogs on your sweaters. Mm-hmm. Surely that's worth taking out a small loan.
Yeah, exactly.
You would win Instagram with that sweater, man.
I think we might.
I think you would. Yes. Got to think about it. You got another year. Start saving a little bit away every month.
A little
for the sweater
special fund for that. So the kids did get us adults a digital frame, one that has been advertised on many a podcast that I have heard. Not this
but not
one.
Us. We're not getting kickbacks.
No. So, but our dogs are very much represented. Our current dogs are well represented upon that item.
Good. So good. So are they going to send you pictures to be in that frame from their lives?
That's the idea.
Go about their collegiate times?
Yes, they can, and they should. So,
and you should harass them every so often. There's no new pictures in my frame. What are you doing? Are you forgetting my frame?
Exactly.
Take a picture of yourself right now. Whatever you're doing.
Do something.
That sounds like the kind of thing that you give somebody with great intentions and then you regret for a long time after. It's just a static picture. It's fine.
Yeah. So far it's pretty handy. You know, everyone has an app on their phone, so you can just, and when you receive take a picture or receive one by text or whatever, you can just pop it right in the frame. So.
And kids, you want to be careful when you're taking pictures on and about your young adult life, that you don't accidentally send the wrong picture to mom's frame.
Right.
Come down for breakfast one morning and whoa, I don't need to see that.
As we have it set up now, you have to, sort of manually add it. But there is a way to say, like, every time I favorite a photo on my phone, or every album from every picture that's in the Instagram album or whatever, you
Oh
can
my gosh,
tell
this
it
is
to go there.
fraught.
Yeah, so they haven't done that as far as I know.
Yeah. Yep. There should be a warning label on that puppy. Well,
So yeah, so how was your travel to your annual Christmas timeshare?
yes, we made our annual trek to Villa Roma Resort in the Catskills and had a very fine time. It was not snowing or icy on the way up there as it was last year, so we were very happy, but we still did our what we intend to be an annual pilgrimage to the pizza place we went to after our near-death experience on the
That
icy road.
saved us. That saved you the last
and
time.
we just go and we go, oh, we're so glad to be alive. Give us a cheese pizza, please. And also they have bathrooms there, so that's helpful after a long trip as well. Anyway, so that was delightful. And we had a really good time. We played a lot of bingo. I abstained from the dice game this time because I wanted to read books and stuff like that. But they had a really good time doing that. And it just continues to be a real comfy place for us. The kids can go down to the main building and do things without us necessarily needing to be with them. And they have buses that bring you back to your room in the evening if you don't want to walk in the dark. We were very close, though. We could walk no matter what. And we go the same week every year. So there's people who also go the same week every year. So we know people when we go there. There's a lady who we take to church with us, and there's a family from actually not too far from us here in New Jersey who we've seen there in the past. And this time they were right across the hall from us. So that was fun. My daughter has now friended all of them on Facebook. But so we had a really good time. The most taxing part of the trip was on the way back. As I'd mentioned here before, our dog went to stay with my husband's brother and sister-in-law who live in Pennsylvania. So instead of just going straight home from New York to New Jersey, we had to go west and pick up the dog in Pennsylvania. And it wound up being a really long drive. And what made it feel really longer is the fact that it gets dark here so early. So we rolled into town back home and it was pitch black and it felt like it was 10 o'clock at night. And it's like, oh my gosh, we've been driving all day and night. And I look at the watch and it's like 5:30.
Right.
So not really that late, but still a very long drive. But the dog had a good time, possibly a better time there than she has at home. She's been a little fussy. She hasn't liked what we're serving her. So I don't know what sort of gourmet creations my sister-in-law was whipping up, but she's sort of looking at this and going, kibble with water? I don't think so.
Yeah, so, our dogs went to the kennel, the daycare / boarding place that they always go. And because we also went away after Christmas. And then on about, I don't know, the third or fourth day that we were gone, I get a phone call from this place. I was like, oh no, what's happening? And it was that they had run out of food because they fed them too much.
Oh no.
And then we had to buy food from them. I was like, well, this is a scam. Now we have to buy food from you. Like, we sent them with food and instructions for how much they were supposed to get.
Yeah.
And as I'm talking to this girl on the phone, she's like, oh, yeah, I see it here. Like, how much, oops. And then no offer of, well, we'll, throw in the food. So, yeah, that was annoying. But at least they were, alive and well when I got the phone call. I did not know that. So
no. Well, yes, we got a few calls and texts and stuff from my sister-in-law, and then dogs seemed to be fitting right in. They really loved having her. Everything was good. And and when we picked her up, she had all these things for us, like try this kind of food and try that kind of food, and here, pour beef broth on her kibble instead of water and all that. So I think she was pretty well spoiled. And now back to the harsh reality of life in the New Jersey Morrow household. Yeah. She's taken a while to settle back in.
Like, this is how it is here, huh? Fine.
Sorry. It's like, wasn't it like in the book Oliver, wasn't the little orphan boy taken in by a family for a little while and then he had to go back? I think like that's what this is.
Yep.
Sorry, kiddo.
Bait and switch situation.
Oh, next year you'll be able to go there maybe again.
Mm-hmm.
Just live for that.
Right.
Good times with another dog and
Just look forward
people
to
who
that
treat
moment.
you well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we made it. We made it back. We're all back. We're all home.
Right.
Back into the old routine of podcasting.
Yes. And so we thought for our entertainment chat, we would cover what we consumed, what I did on my vacation.
There we go.
Pop culture
Back to the vacation.
wise.
Yeah.
So
you did much more interesting than I did. So you actually did you actually go to theaters and watch movies?
I went to one theater and watched one movie
Uh-huh.
because I was visiting my parents, and my mom, late in life has become a movie goer. She absolutely never went to movies, like almost her whole. I mean, she was far too busy. So, so she wanted to see The Boys on the Boat. Is it in the boat or on the boat?
I don't know what that is.
In the boat, I think.
Uh-huh.
So this is a movie. It's called The Boys in the Boat. It's a movie directed by George Clooney, and it's about
Him I know.
Yes, familiar with him. Yeah. It's set in 1936, and it's the true story of, it's based on a true story of a team of a rowing team from the University of Washington that actually qualifies for the Olympics.
Wow.
And so this is the 1936 Olympics in Berlin with Hitler presiding and Jesse Owens and all that. The Olympic part is a pretty small piece of the movie. It's mostly like leading up to that. So this was a very much Oscar bait, go to the movies with your family during the week between Christmas and New Year's kind of movie.
Yes.
Historical and inspirational, and you knew what was going to happen, and like you knew that how the story was going to end, right? Because this is what it is, and you just sort of knew the beats that would happen along the way, but it was still quite entertaining to watch.
Cool.
So, and the coolest thing, I think, was that when they went to this one race that was going to qualify them to go to the Olympics, it's crew. So it's these boats of 8 oarsmen, right? And it was on the Hudson River, this race. And they actually had a train that went alongside the river, facing with all the seats facing the river. And the side of the train taken off, and then like an awning that went from the back and arched over the top so that all the people there had shade. And so it was like moving bleachers.
Oh, wow.
So it went along the river so they could watch the race. It was so cool.
Cool idea.
It was very cool. So anyway, that was one movie. Quite enjoyable, but also fairly forgettable and predictable. So that was that. Good job, George Clooney. You did what you set out to do. It's based on a book by a man named Daniel James Brown. And then also watched on the airplane the movie Asteroid City. This is a Wes Anderson movie. And so it was extremely quirky and very, very, very Wes Anderson. As I think I mentioned
even more Wes Anderson-y than that episode of The After Party. Even more Wes Anderson-y than that.
It was Wes Anderson cranked up to 11 or possibly 25. So,
well, that's why we go to a Wes Anderson movie, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. And I mean, the list of people who's in this movie, like, I'll just read you a sampling of the cast. Jason Schwartzman, who's in every Wes Anderson movie.
Right. Yes.
Tom Hanks, Scarlett Johansson, Jeffrey Wright, Edward Norton, Bryan Cranston, Maya Hawke, who's the daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, Liev Schreiber. It just like went on and on. You're like, oh,
Might be
that
easier if
guy.
you tell me who's not in it.
Yeah. It just continued on and on.
But that's kind of delightful, though, isn't it? That so many people are just eager to do whatever small thing they can,
right,
or large thing, or whatever.
Yes.
He must be fun to work for.
Yeah, I guess so. And, you know, it was set out in the desert and in the 50s. So you can just imagine the visuals were over the top. So
I think I watched a trailer for this and thought, I really want to watch this when it comes out. So now that it's out, and I think it's streaming on, is it streaming anywhere yet? Did I find it streaming someplace? Prime, I believe.
Prime, yes.
Yes. So I will have to catch that because that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't really...
Nobody else in my house will have any interest in watching it, but I do.
Yeah, I could not really explain to you what happened truly at all. But, you know,
a bunch of people got together and Wes Anderson all over the place, basically.
Exactly. That is what happened. So, you know, and that's entertaining. So there you have it. Yeah.
I'll sign up for that.
And how about you? What did you consume?
Well, speaking of signing up, I did not go to any movies. I read religious books because they had been sitting on a shelf, guilting me because I hadn't read them. So I brought them on my vacation and read some of them. You know, I didn't go to any of the like entertainment related activities there. But something that I have done over the past couple of months that I want to mention is watch live concerts on a service called Veeps. It's relatively new. I think I mentioned it before. I saw a Walker Hayes concert on there, and it's live streamed concerts, plus also on-demand concerts of things that they filmed as live streams, and now you can watch them whenever. But I watched a Foo Fighters free event on it, and then I heard that Hardy, who's a country singer I enjoy, who I've mentioned here before, was having the final concert of his Mockingbird and the Crow tour on Veeps. And I said, well, I want to go see that. So I went on and I found out that in addition to being able to pay by the concert, which is, I think they were like around $18 maybe to watch a live stream, which is when you compare it to the cost of actually going to a concert, is you know, an incredible bargain. But they had also added a subscription platform so that you could subscribe for like about $12 a month, which is less than the cost of one concert. And you could also subscribe for $120 a year. So I thought, I'm going to subscribe for a month. I'll get my Hardy concert and then I'll watch a whole bunch of other ones and then I'll decide what I want to do. So I watched the Hardy concert, which was on December 9th. So before our vacation times, but still, I don't think I've talked about it here. And it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. That album was part country and part hard rock. So the concert was very, you know, flashing lights and steam being spewed out all over the place and, you know, twanging guitars and his drummer. I've seen his drummer twice now because they also did New Year's Eve somewhere. And apparently he doesn't like wearing shirts when he drums. So he had like these electric things like glued to his back. The amplifiers and whatever. I was very nervous for him. I thought maybe one of the special effects might be him going up in flames like the drummer for Spinal Tap. But at one point, I guess because they're trying, you know, here's this rock show. So somebody threw a bra on the stage and he was walking around swinging this bra and he hung it from the microphone stand. And I thought, I know he's married. I follow his wife on social media. Is he going to be in trouble for this? And then later on, I saw on her social media that she was the one who threw the bra on the stage. So this is where rock and roll is these days. She said she wanted to show the young girls how to do it. But it's, you know, if it just had a kind of homey feel to it. Even the underwear being thrown on the stage was still kind of wholesome. Yes. So if you decide to subscribe to Veeps, you will be able to watch that concert and a whole bunch of others. Over the holidays, they had a 50% off for the year, so I got it for $60. So I've been watching all the concerts I can. I watched a concert that was Death Cab for Cutie and the Postal Service. And I learned that not only did the two of those have the same front man, But Jenny Lewis was in the Postal Service. Did you know that Jenny Lewis was in the Postal Service? I did not know this.
I did not.
So, and there she was, swooping around. So it's like the things you learn for your $60 a year.
Yeah.
And I listened to concerts by Reuben McIntyre, Darius Rucker, Ingrid Michaelson, all of whom I knew. And then I listened to concerts by two bands I had never heard of before, The Somerset and Something Corporate, and really enjoyed them. So I really recommend Veeps. If you enjoy music, if you enjoy watching the people who make music actually singing the music, sound not as good as it is on your record, but still, it's exciting to see them. And then you can look up on Wikipedia and find out who the heck they are, if it's a band you haven't listened to before.
Right.
But they have really a lot of very interesting stuff on there, and it's pretty affordable, I think, even at the full price.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So yeah, go subscribe for a month, watch a bunch of concerts, and if you like it, subscribe for a year. Support them and support music. It's fun.
Nice.
And you don't have to go to a theater. You don't have to pay hundreds of dollars and parking and t-shirts and beer and getting 2 hours leaving afterwards. You can just sit on your couch.
Stepping in something questionable if you go to the bathroom.
Yes, exactly. So this is concerts for old people. Yes, I'm there. Bring it on.
I'm very savvy of them to have come up with this. I think.
That is, yes. I think it was a number of these concerts I watched by bands I didn't know. They were both like they had broken up and then they were getting back together at a certain age. So it's like Something Corporate band. The guitarist and the drummer looked to me like dads who got to come back and play. Isn't this cool?
Right.
Look at us.
Sweet.
Look at us. We're rock stars.
Love it.
Oh, yes.
Good.
Anyway, so now we move on to something a little more familiar. Catherine's Library Find of the Week. What you got?
Well, speaking of familiar, I just wanted to take you back to the days of Choose Your Own Adventure. Do you remember these?
I do remember those days.
These little books where at the bottom of the page it would say, do you want to open this door?
Yeah.
If you do, turn to page 27. If you want to back up and walk away.
I believe I actually wrote some of those. I wrote like a computer version of those at some point in my early writing career when I would do anything. It was fun.
Well, did you, Terry, either back in the day or they have apparently relaunched some of them now?
Have they?
There's also a sub-series called Choose Your Own Nightmare.
Oh my. No, thank you.
Can you believe that?
No. Is one of the choices just to go back home and have some cocoa and forget this ever happened?
Wake up.
I would choose that one every time. I would never get to the end of the book.
Yeah, so there's Choose Your Own Nightmare of the current round. There's 8th Grade Witch, Snake Invasion, and Blood Island. You can get all three.
Why?
You can get all three for $20, and that's the ones that are like currently in print from the company, the publisher. But you can also like on book resellers and stuff, you can find vintage editions of these in case you want to travel back in time for your nightmare.
Who do you get those to? You don't buy those for your kid. Well, I guess some kids are into horror movies and stuff like that, but that young?
Yeah. Well, and like there's all those Goosebumps and stuff. These look scarier than Goosebumps to me.
But you could also do Choose Your Own Nightmare being like, you go to school in the morning, and when you get there, you find out, you forgot to put on pants. You have this huge zit on your nose.
Right.
Your boyfriend is looking at another girl. Which nightmare do you choose?
Yeah, well, here's the copy on the page. This is no ordinary Choose Your Own Adventure game book. The death endings are more horrifying, and the premises are bone-chilling.
Oh my goodness.
The titles are also fabulously enhanced by incredibly creepy black watercolor artwork from one of our favorite artists. So you get to picture, you don't have to just imagine, you get to actually see actual pictures. So.
This is not right. I do not approve.
Yeah, I didn't think you would, but I had to bring it to your attention.
This would be the gift that your sibling gives to your kid, and then you have to say, "What were you thinking? She's not sleeping anymore. Choose your adventure. I'm going to send my kid to your house."
Kids can just check them out at the library. So there's that option as well.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I know there are kids who like scary things, so good for them.
Yeah, but that was a surprise to me.
I don't even want that in my house. I don't even want to look at the cover of it. I don't even want to think about it. Yeah. So daring children whose mothers are wimps need to make sure to keep this under the bed.
That's right.
I'm a traumatized mom. You'll never hear the end of it.
So that's that.
So let's see if we choose our own adventure through our archives, if we'll come across anything quite so horrifying. We are choosing adventures from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and 8 years ago this week. And actually, the one from 2 years ago, Parenting Rites of Passage, those are a little scary.
Yes.
Good choose your own nightmare from that. Your baby is crying. Is it a diaper that is full to bursting? Your teenager is reading a horrifying book. What do you do?
Yes. This was a fun topic. I thought, when we did it a few years ago, because we were talking about there's, baptisms and graduations and all those things. But, what about the first time you deal with a massive blown out diaper or
head lice,
picking through the garbage for a retainer, all of that kind of fun
I never did that for a kid, but my parents did that for me.
I did it. Oh boy. So, any new ones in the past 2 years? I mean, for me, it was getting through the college application process with my second kid, which was extremely different from the first kid who did everything herself. So, whew.
Yeah.
And then becoming an empty nester.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What was that? A parenting rite of passage I have not yet encountered, but I do sort of have the kid moving out.
Yeah.
She's just moving downstairs in the same house.
Right.
So we're still in process on that. We're still waiting for the shower door, but we did get the cable guy to come and fix up the TV downstairs, which we were not able to do by ourselves because of course not. So that's a big step.
Yeah, huge.
And then once we have to get the shower door and we have to get the microwave and we have to get the toaster and get rid of some other stuff and bring her clothes down. And so it's still, eventually we will get there. And I will count that as a milestone, even though, but it is for her. For her, it is a big deal because she resisted it for a long time. And then my son moving to a different room, if he agrees to, that will be also a milestone. Me getting an office that is not in my bedroom will be a milestone.
Yeah, for real.
Take whichever bedroom is unused. Woo! And they will be warmer than my room because this room is the coldest in the house. But also, finding kids jobs is kind of a milestone. And my son is still thinking that he's going to learn how to drive one day. So that will really be a rite of passage for his dad and I.
Right.
But it could happen. It could happen. It's possible. He's interested in it some of the time and not other times. So, but for some reason, his boss at work wants him to learn how to drive and is giving him lessons at work.
Oh,
so says he will drive him to take the driving test. So I'm assuming this means that there's something you would like him to do at work that involves a driver's license, though I can't think what it would be. It's nice.
Yes.
Nice when people take an interest.
Yeah.
So, speaking of empty nests, we talked about empty nest careers. I don't think you or I have had any change in career since January 14th, 1921.
Well, I have had my library.
You've added the library.
Yeah.
That's right, you have. Was that an empty nest move?
It was, yeah.
That's right, because you couldn't have done it when you were driving your son around.
I couldn't have done it, and, I knew I would have more time on my hands and I just didn't want to be spending all of that working at home. I wanted to get out. So
you have made me often think about whether I would like to do the same, but I have not found anything.
Yeah.
Our library is not hiring.
It's been
I would want to do.
It's been really good. I'm glad that I did it. I wish that I could combine the best parts of the library with the best parts of my freelance contract job, and then we'd really be in business. But that is not to be. So
yeah, I keep thinking I would like to find a full-time job out or remote, but not freelancing.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody wants an old lady. So
yeah,
but we may have a big rite of passage coming up because we're thinking that my husband turns 70 today as we record this. Happy birthday, baby. And so he's going to start getting Social Security, and he may decide to retire in June because he works for a college and wants to wait. And then I will be on Medicare by that time because I will be 65, and we may just. He keeps saying I could just stop working, and I'm like, well, no, I really don't think I can. But what would I do with myself?
Yeah.
He can just sit and watch old TV all day, but I could not.
Yeah.
I must multitask. I have to start gardening or something. I have to go back to cross stitching.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
My mom does needlepoint. She's retired sort of, but she also still works, but she has been doing needlepoint, and she has like a big magnifying glass.
Yes. I was just thinking that my eyes were much better when I used to do canted cross stitch, and my eyes were much better, and I would need a magnifying glass now, perhaps a telescope of some sort. Macular degeneration stitchery. The canted cross stitch, the squares are about an inch by an inch.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But, I don't know. We shall see. We
talked about, not 5 years ago, but 8 years ago, we talked about things that we would want to fast pass for. So maybe that's, I would have liked a fast pass definitely for the college application process.
Yes.
Just skip to the end. Let me know what happens.
Yes.
That would have been quite handy.
Yes. Well, something I have found that kind of acts like a fast pass, and I know a lot of people have left this platform, but Twitter customer service, man. You can't beat Twitter. Not customer service in dealing with Twitter, but using Twitter to engage with companies oftentimes moves things along very quickly, either shaming them publicly and then they respond to you and help you out, or DMing them. I've always had the problem with the cable company because if you try to interface with them on their website, it's like AI Palooza, and you can never get your questions answered.
Right.
And they keep directing you to pages that you've already looked at, and to get a human takes forever, and then they don't seem to know what they're doing either. And when you call, it's the same thing. It's the long menus, and then the person telling you, did you unplug it and plug it back in?
Right.
Did you do this? Did you do that? Yes. Well, I guess you have to call, have a service person call. So I tried one time DMing them on Twitter. And it was like a human being talked to me and said, oh, yes, here, we can make an appointment. This is how much it's going to cost. Or, did you do this? It was like they just got it done in no time.
Right.
And this last time when we needed to have the box moved down for my daughter, and we went and tried to do it ourselves and it didn't work. And I contacted them on Twitter. They set up an appointment. The guy came. It was great. Just no nonsense. And also you can tell your entire story in one block.
Yeah.
And hit send.
Right.
And then the person has it.
Right.
So that certainly has been a fast pass for the cable company, and has been a fast pass for my husband's health insurance. There's a very nice people on social media for that. Right. So, I'll take that. That makes me so happy when that works. It's like, you don't have to sit on hold for 45 minutes.
Right.
Just communicate with an actual human, or at least a very skillfully done AI.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that they can do that well on Twitter. And so why can't those people answer their emails or their phone calls or whatever?
Exactly. Why?
I mean, we don't want them to be spread too thin so that it doesn't work when you try to use it.
But they could just have the same instructions, could they not?
Yeah.
Could they just not have a person? There used to be a human on the chat on the website, there does not seem to be one now.
Right.
Or there's one human and like several layers of automation protecting them from actually having to speak to anybody.
Right. Well, should we fast pass our way out here?
Yes. How do we do that? Here,
Well, it's
get in this special line and listen to Catherine.
That's right. We'll say that's it for the Parenting Roundabout Weekly Roundup, the first one of 2024.
Yay!
Next week, we are going to watch a movie called The Holdovers. This is starring Paul Giamatti and Divine Joy Randolph, who we enjoyed so much on Only Murders in the Building.
And it was about a Christmas break at a school, right? So we're a little late.
Yeah, we're a little bit late, but that's okay. You can find it on Peacock or for rent and sale on Amazon Prime and YouTube and probably your cable.
Be cheaper than going to the theater and buying a ticket and getting popcorn and a soda and
but not by much. It's not as cheap as the concerts.
You don't have to worry about the old couple behind you explaining the plot to each other and the kids turning their phones on in the middle of the movie and
all that good stuff.
Spoiling the dark.
Yes. So we're going to watch that. And then we'll have our usual segments. And you can find all of our episodes on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. You can also talk to us on our Facebook page, on Instagram, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat. And please visit our Amazon shop at amazon.com/shop/mamitude, where you can find links to a lot of things we've talked about over the years. And we'll see you back here next Tuesday. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Goodbye, everyone.